your boy Lock and Loaded. Big Ack in the building. I don't care about that name check. This is what the GOAT had to say.
This situation with Drake and Akademiks is actually insane. An example, a perfect example of when dick writing goes wrong. Akademiks, and you know what, and I really do like Ak. Like, don't let these videos fool you. But the truth has to be said. Ak prides himself on not caring about these rappers. He'd rather talk about them than talk to them because he makes more money that way. And that's kind of the appeal of Ak. His opinion can be bought and paid for. Except when it comes to Drake, apparently, who Ak talks to so much, it's like he's Drake's unofficial spokesperson. Drake has lied and made Ak look crazy before. Remember when Drake leaked push-ups to see if anyone was actually vibing with it before officially releasing it, and everyone wasn't sure if it was AI or not? And then afterwards, an AI Kendrick track leaked, and Drake and everyone around him said it was an authentic Kendrick track, and Akademiks was gassing it like, PG Lang hasn't hit me. It's looking really wicked for them. And then, it came back that the track was AI, and Drake and all his stands, including Ak, just kind of moved on from the narrative. Everyone except Maul's dumbass, who went on to still claim the track was real even after it was proven by the actual creator to be AI. But, in Maul's mind, whatever Drizzy says is law. Probably why Drake likes telling Maul stuff over Ak. Maul's not afraid to lose all credibility and look stupid for the boy. Whereas Akademiks, not as much. Drake lied about, Kendrick beating his wife and their kids not being his, and he lied about feeding Kendrick false info. Nonetheless, Akademiks will act like Drake hasn't lied before this or something. But this new situation is crazier and shows not only is Drake a liar, he's kind of not a good person, like at all. So there's this guy named Chris Blake, I believe is his name. I guess his kind of connection to Drake and a lot of other famous people, the whole industry is through Javante Davis, and that's how him and Drake got cool. Chris is kind of on the managerial side of things. He designs clothes and is a stylist of sorts, I believe. So Chris decided to leak messages with Drake, and Drake's response was to call the messages fake and say Chris is a clout chaser. Drake didn't say all that himself, though, but, he pretty much said all that through Akademiks, for him to put out, because whatever Drake doesn't feel like addressing himself, he just lets Ak do it. Video proving the messages were real because apparently Drake blocked him, and I'm guessing he didn't think he'd have a video of the messages. But just, some advice. Lying is never the way to go, even if you think you can get away with it. So after that, Akademiks looks pretty bad. He's getting clowned on Twitter, and I know Akademiks' mindset is, well, I sourced Drake for what I said, so if anyone is the liar, it's Drake, which is true. But you still look crazy. You still look crazy, gang. In order to clear this up, Akademiks would invite Chris on his live stream to address the situation, where both kind of start sweeping for Drake in a sense, saying Drake shouldn't have lied because the messages don't make him look that crazy. And I'm here to say, yes, bro looks kind of crazy, especially in context with the story Chris tells us. So the story goes, Chris is working on some clothing for Stephon Diggs. Stephon tries to make some rather ditty moves towards Chris, and Chris wasn't going. And this is part of the story that made Akademiks not want to believe Chris, because, there's always two people when it comes to this Me Too shit. Those who believe any and everything someone says with no proof, and those who automatically think everyone's lying. Ak seems to be the latter. But that situation led to, I guess, Stephon sending people to do something to Chris Blake. And people, apparently people even went to jail in regards to this situation. And that's kind of the context of the messages between Drake. Now, I'm not going to read these long ass text messages or IG messages, whatever, but I'm pretty much summarize what happened. Drake, I guess, was wearing a Free Chap shirt, which is one of the guys who tried to assassinate him, apparently. Now, also keep this in mind. Drake just released a whole track whining about how his friends, specifically LeBron, switched up on him. He salty at DeMar DeRozan for siding with Kendrick too, but watch how he treats this guy who is his friend and also a huge stan. Chris, I'm imagining, wasn't a fan of what Drake was doing. You know, he's wearing a shirt saying free the guy who pretty much assaulted him. So Drake responds by pretty much calling Buddy a rat because niggas went to jail and I guess he's online exposing Stephon for being a Diddy. Now, see, let me pause there and say this is why I haven't been able to enjoy Drake's music since More Life. It seems his mental maturity has gone down. This guy is touching 40 talking about snitching. How are you 38 and less mature than when you were at 25? And if you listen to his music, you can hear the immaturity. Go listen to Take Care, then go listen to CLB or For All the Dogs. It's like listening to two different niggas. Take Care, Drake couldn't care less. He couldn't dress for shit because he wasn't that guy. He wasn't that guy who people looked at like, wow, he's so cool. And he knew that. That was the appeal of Drake. He was propelled by his talent and never tried to be something he wasn't. But now he's talking about snitching. So Chris Blake, whatever, is pretty much like, hey, slow down. I'm not no snitch. Snitching is when you commit a crime together and you tell on the other person in hopes that they go lenient on you. You get a lighter sentence. This guy did some Diddy shit, then tried to assassinate me, so no one else will find out that he was a Diddy. And aren't you suing UMG, by the way? How are you talking about snitching? So Drake's response is pretty much him trying to defend why what he's doing isn't snitching. And it shows Drake has the most childish understanding of what snitching is. Drake is pretty much like, well, see, your situation deals with violence. So, it's so stupid. I see why Baca is around now. Drake is a nigga in his late 30s who thinks crime is okay and telling on criminals who are some Diddy shit is wrong. And that's what's crazy about these messages. Not him alluding to LeBron cheating on Savannah. Like, who could really care? This is probably why LeBron ended up switching on him. Because LeBron's wife does not like him. Because he probably knows Drake been supplying him. According to Akademiks, I had to listen to Act pretty much say Drake supplied LeBron with women, therefore LeBron shouldn't dance to trash calling Drake a PDF since Drake ain't never supplied him with underage girls, even though the reason people call Drake a PDF is because there's a bunch of stories of Drake talking to underage women like Millie Bobby Brown, giving her dating advice, and him trying to hang out with other underage social media stars that Drake fans conveniently ignore. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about Drake's weird history with underage women. They have a lot of views. You can check them out, but I'm sure Drake defenders will ignore it. Does all of that prove Drake is a PDF? No. Should it raise questions? Yes. But the ideal of Drake supplying LeBron with women sounds like it can go in the direction of trafficking. Like, I don't know why Act would reveal that. Like, I'm sure that's the reason why Drake hasn't full on snitched on LeBron. He realizes it plays into what Kendrick was saying on Meet the Grams. And by the way, you can't be on Instagram crying saying about someone snitching on individuals who tried to do some Diddy stuff to him and then tried to physically harm him and saying he shouldn't tell. But meanwhile, you're on the track halfway snitching on LeBron. Make it make sense. Drake is an idiot. All this to say that Drake is, by all metrics, no longer a good person. And if I was Akademiks, I'd stop being Drake's mouthpiece that addresses every little allegation that Drake doesn't want to address or give light to. He wants Drake to crash out for some shit that he's not willing to. It has not once been towards Akademiks' benefit. He has the nerve to go off on Elliot Wilson and tell him that rappers don't want to do interviews, but yet you still dick ride Drake. Even though Drake blatantly lied to Akademiks, making him look like a liar, Ak will still sweep for Drake. Ak is a man in his 30s calling another man who is about to be in his 40s his GOAT and working as his PR team for free. If this isn't embarrassing, then I don't know what is.